Eating is political. But where does our food come from? Who produces it? How does it end up in our homes? Who turns it into everyday meals? Food sovereignty draws our attention to all these issues and provokes reflection on how domestic and care work is organised. Conceptualised by the peasant movements, food sovereignty has become central to the political feminist actions and struggles of the World March of Women. The Nyeleni Forum for Food Sovereignty was a landmark in this trajectory.
J'ai eu la chance de représenter la Marche mondiale des femmes dans le comité de pilotage international en son temps mis en place pour organiser Nyeleni 2007, c'est-à-dire le premier forum mondial sur la souveraineté alimentaire. Les délégués des 5 continents se sont retrouvés à Sélingué, au Mali, pour magnifier ensemble, en cœur, en solidarité et selon la définition consensuelle, la souveraineté alimentaire est le droit des peuples à une alimentation saine dans le respect des cultures, produites à l'aide de méthodes durables et respectueuses de l'environnement, ainsi que leur droit à définir leur propre système alimentaire et agricole. Je dirais en français facile que la souveraineté alimentaire, c'est juste consommer ce que nous produisons et produire ce que nous consommons.
Together with our allied social movements such as La Via Campesina and Friends of the Earth International, we discuss women's contribution to food production, circulation and preparation, including production for personal consumption. The economic dimension of this work is concealed and kept invisible. These are tasks considered natural to mothers, wives, grandmothers and sisters in a capitalist, racist and patriarchal society. We value the knowledge and experiences of women farmers who ensure species diversity, resulting in the production of healthy food without the use of chemicals. This is the case of ancestral agroecology practices, such as the selection, exchange and keeping of seeds, and the diversified growing of plants with multiple functions, such as for food, medicine or the attraction of insects. But food sovereignty is threatened by transnational corporations who extend their control over territories and aim to transform all areas of our lives into merchandise, beginning with genetically modified seeds.
Partons du principe que celui qui détient les semences, il détient la vie. Les réglementations des pays industrialisés se répandent vers les pays du Sud. À travers les accords commerciaux d'investissement, les lois de semences sont en faveur des sociétés transnationales. Cette transformation des systèmes semenciers traditionnellement gérés par les paysans vers des systèmes dominés par le secteur privé aura un impact sur le moyen de subsistance des dizaines de millions de personnes.
It's the same transnational corporations that control genetically modified seeds grown with pesticides that produce the treatments against cancer or infertility caused by the very chemicals they manufacture. They also destroy nature with their monoculture plantations and contribute to climate change with their unsustainable energy consumption, as well as participating in the arms industry. We also denounce the patriarchal relations that prevent food sovereignty.
When you talk about access to land, you find that the title deeds are often in the names of male members of the family, either as sons or as brothers. And so this means that women are cut off from land. And land is a foundation, is a basic commodity where food can be grown.
We women sustain life by producing and preparing food. We want this task and others that are equally as important for the care of life to be shared with men and with society as a whole. This is why we demand public services such as collective kitchens and restaurants, public laundries, nurseries and elderly care centres, in addition to the right to public and free healthcare for everyone. Through international alliance actions and processes, such as the World Social Forums and the People's Summits for Climate Justice, we have organized our worldview as a movement and strengthened our demands for food sovereignty and the defense of common goods and of territories impacted by colonialism and racist and patriarchal capitalism.
Aqui no território do Apodi, no Rio Grande do Norte, nós, militantes da Marcha Mundial das Mulheres, travamos uma batalha contra o agronegócio e pela soberania alimentar. Conseguimos barrar um projeto de irrigação no qual acabava com toda a experiência dos camponeses e de um território que nós denominamos o território camponês. Nós tivemos também uma fortaleza, um fortalecimento da apropriação das mulheres e dos camponeses do seu território e da necessidade de continuar uma luta coletiva para fortalecer a temática da soberania alimentar e da agroecologia.
We women are part of a permanent collective struggle against hunger and poverty and to reorganize the economy, putting life at the center. We denounce the role of transnational corporations in increasing the prices of food that they distribute and trade by way of hypermarkets all over the world. In 2020 and 2021, during the COVID-19 pandemic, solidarity networks were created in many different places to collectively guarantee food for people living in poverty or those who suddenly lost their livelihoods. We distributed thousands of tons of healthy food with production based on agroecology and respecting nature's times and rhythms.
Soberania alimentar tem que acontecer em todos os níveis, No âmbito internacional, a gente nos confrontando à Organização Mundial do Comércio, as transnacionais, no âmbito dos países, tendo política pública para assegurar o direito à alimentação segundo os hábitos e as culturas alimentares e também a soberania alimentar nos territórios. Nos territórios, o povo camponês e o povo tradicional já luta muito para manter o seu direito à comida. O que a gente viu na pandemia foi um aumento dessa percepção, dessa consciência também no povo trabalhador da cidade. Um estreitamento desse laço, dessa aliança entre as mulheres que vivem no campo e na cidade para que a comida boa, a comida agroecológica, chegasse na mesa, no prato de todas nós. O que elas mostraram? A nossa possibilidade de superar a ordem capitalista e patriarcal que transforma a questão da alimentação como se fosse um problema privado a ser resolvido pelas mulheres dentro das suas casas, dentro das suas famílias.
Enriched by feminism and agroecology, food sovereignty contributes to affirm popular sovereignty and to reorganize our societies on the basis of solidarity and on the basis of people's interests. At the same time, food sovereignty enriched by feminism and agroecology strengthens the struggle of rural social movements and the struggle for environmental and climate justice and the struggle of women.
Within the World March of Women space, food sovereignty is a discussion that we cannot afford to miss in our spaces, in our midst, especially here in Africa. Once we know that the local farmer, the local women understand it and we practice what we learn, then it helps us a lot as feminists, as human rights defenders, as frontline communities working towards true change. Let's continue practicing what we are learning and what we need. So agroecology is the future, feminist is the future.
Capire, è la mossa mammelam. Capire, moça, mamma, capire, inspira l'amore.